Okay, everybody, I should be going live now. Hopefully you all can find me. Let me refresh my page here and see if I come up. Okay. I'm looking for me. Ah, there we are. There we are. Okay. I'm good. I found me. I found me on Facebook. I'm here. I'm here. Ah, there we are. There we are. All right. Hello, Debbie. All right. So I hope to be here a little bit earlier than this, but I got distracted by doing something else. So then I looked up and was like, oh my gosh, it's 2 minutes till 6. I got to get on there. Okay. All right. Hopefully y'all can find me. Let's see if I can. If it will let me share this or not. Hi, Virginia. Hi, Pat. Good to have you guys here. Okay. I am ready to paint some peppermint. I hope you guys are ready to paint some peppermint. So I'm checking the people coming in. So we've got some people coming in now. Hello, Melissa. How are you, my friend? Haven't seen you in forever. Hello, Cindy and Marianne and Mickey. We've got a good group coming in. I hope you guys are having a great day. Great weather. We've had beautiful weather here today in Missouri. 61 degrees, but a cold front's coming in. It was supposed to be here about 3 o'clock, but at 5 o'clock it was still 61 degrees. So, but the temperature is going to drop like 30 degrees or more, and the wind chill is going to be in the 20s. So tomorrow will be a brisk day. It's been very windy today. So, hello, Elena. Thanks for the tip. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Hello, Cindy and Pat and Joanne. Oh my gosh, it's so great to have all you guys here. Are you guys ready to paint some peppermint? Now, I don't know how it's looking on the Facebook feed, but I'm sorry, I just untied my shoe. Let me tie it. I'm using my virtual camera and my mouth doesn't always match with it. So I'll be up in the corner here in just a second and you won't even need to worry about my mouth. I'll switch out of the virtual camera at the end if there's questions and stuff. So, all right, let me put me little in the corner here. We got more people coming in. Hello, Lois. Hello, Sandy. Virginia, 80 degrees in San Antonio. Yeah. I don't think you're going to get much of the cold front we got coming through here. So, all right, I'm going to get me small. And it's just me tonight. So, got my paint table here and my palette camera for painting here in a little bit, but I'm going to show you a few peppermint stuff that I have done in the past and show you some different ways that you can make peppermint. Now, I'm not going to be painting this whole sleigh tonight. I probably will just paint a couple of peppermints on the sleigh. I've got another board where I'm going to show you different ways to paint peppermint. But I did want to tell you that the sleigh is on Pinecraft, and I did leave that in the description up above for this post. So you can get the sleigh at Pinecraft now. They do have it up there. And the free line drawing is in the Files tab. So you can go there and grab the line drawing for this. It's actually, I think the line drawing, I've got it here. It goes this direction because it was taken from, the pattern was taken from this particular peppermint one that I made. Created this with the 2022 DecoArt new Americana paints. So on the line drawing here, all of these are pinwheel peppermints, but when I did it on the red, I didn't do just pinwheel peppermints. This one's a pinwheel one. This is a different style of pinwheel I really love this little one here. I think it looks so good, but I loved adding these peppermints. And this one, those are so fun. And then we've got a swirl one. Your peppermints don't have to be red. They can be any color you want. I did add green on just a few of my peppermints and peppermint sticks. So this was a lot of fun to paint. And once you realize how easy peppermints are to paint, you're just going to want to paint them on everything. Generally, every year I try to make some kind of design that has peppermint on it. So also with the line drawing, it goes this direction on the nope, wait. On the one that I put in the file, but all you have to do after you draw it on your tracing paper is flip it over for the other side if you want your sleigh to go this direction. It's very easy. So don't worry about that. So if you're going to paint tonight, any of your peppermint, you'll want to be right there. But this is going to be fun. So one way that I did peppermint a few years ago, I did this one. I did a peppermint border. The tree has peppermint candies, of course, peppermint hat, shoes, and present. And I did add some bling, bling, bling on this one, you guys. So much fun. This is my peppermint gnome ornament, I think it's called. I'm not 100% sure what I called it. These I made for table prizes for OK Palooza one year. So I did a bunch of these up, and see, I did peppermint around the border here, a red and green stripes, and I did peppermint on the back, and then I stamped it with a stamp right in there. And yeah, these turned out really cute. So lots of ways that you can do peppermint. This is just couple simple candy canes. I did add, they have gloss varnish on it because I want it to be really shiny. And then I have Glamour Dust ice crystal on these candy canes. So pretty. Oh my gosh, you guys, they sparkle so much. I wish you could see the sparkle like I could see it. I see it showing it a little bit on the camera, but you know, it's just not the same as being right in front of it. So these candy canes are an excellent example of how you want to create the shading on your peppermint without letting it fill the entire peppermint, because that's very easy to do. On this one up here, I almost filled the entire peppermint when I shaded because I just had the float too far over on my brush. But once I added my highlight, it all worked out good. So don't stress out if you get it a little bit farther than you want. On bigger peppermints, it's easier to not get it too far, but on smaller ones, it can be a little bit tricky. So that one is fun. I'm doing peppermint ornaments for Christmas this year, and I always like to paint my grandkids' favorite colors. So I've got one, his favorite color is orange. Now see, you can paint peppermint any color. Isn't that orange just gorgeous? I just love that orange right there. I think it's great. I did do a couple of red ones. This one, however, I did like triangles on my peppermint. You can do any kind of design on your peppermint. The shading and the highlighting is what brings out the peppermint, makes it look like peppermint. So this one is the traditional S. That one's the traditional S curve. This one's just straight out on each edge. This one I thought was fun. I did it kind of like an oval shape. I thought that turned out so cute. I love that one. This one's just pink S curve and then more red. Okay. And green. Oh yes. And then this little round ornament. I'm going to show you how to paint a different type of way on this side, and we'll have fun with that. I think I have some lines drawn on this one for S curve. So these are some of the ornaments that I have painted up, getting ready for Christmas. One more peppermint design that I did was this one. Several years ago, I did this one. It's probably been my #1 seller of all of my packets. Peppermint sticks. I love this one. My original one was painted on a much smaller box than this one, but I gave it away as a gift, so I don't have it anymore. So when I went to get another box, all I could find was this bigger one to paint it on, just so I could have an example. This is just one of those magnetic closed boxes. It does have to be prepped very well before you paint on it. So just keep that in mind. You've got to have paper on it. That's just paper, no foil, no glitter, nothing on the box. Couple of coats of multi-purpose sealer first, couple of coats of just regular household wall primer. And then I did a couple of coats of black paint and then just painted right on top of it and varnished it when I was done. Love this design. It's probably one of my favorites. I did peppermints on the side here. So you can do peppermints so many different ways and so many different styles. I mean, it's just so fun. All right, a couple of things you might need is, or want to have, I think they're handy, is some kind of circle template or circle stencil. Now, these two came from Michael's. So, you know, if they still carry these, I've had mine for a lot of years. So if they still carry them, I don't know if they carry both sizes anymore. They may just carry one size. These are great. You can use them as stencils very well. I do carry a stencil that starts at 1/4 inch and goes all the way up to 2 inches. So it just comes in handy when you're wanting to paint the base coat of white in your circles. You can just put it on there and get your white painted on so quickly. Of course, you can't do that with the edge piece or the peppermint sticks, but all your smaller peppermints, you can get the round ones. You can get painted in so quickly if you have a circle stencil or template of some kind. Okay. All right, so let's go over the paints that we're going to need. I'll do a couple on this one. I'm going to show you how to do the S stroke on this one. I'm going to show you how to draw all your peppermint lines on in this one. So for drawing peppermint, depending on what color you're doing, like if you're doing on black and you want to draw your sticks in and not have to worry about a line drawing, I just use watercolor pencils. And I try to use a watercolor pencil close to the color of paint that I'm going to be using. So if I'm going to do green peppermint or some other color, I will use a watercolor pencil that goes with that color, because it's just going to make it so much easier. You can erase it very easily if you don't want to, but it blends right in with the paint once you start painting it. So watercolor pencils, you should always have them on hand. They are great to use. No matter what design you're doing, if you have a watercolor pencil that is close to the color, you can just blend that right in to your paint as you're painting. Now, you'll want a compass. And if you're doing an ornament where you're doing a border, now this particular border, I think, is about 3/4 of an inch. Yep. 3/4 inch is how wide I made mine. I like the chunkier borders. You know, on my star one here, I did a much thinner border. Yes, Sandy, I do have the video for my box on my YouTube channel, so you can go over there and watch how I painted that. My new website will still be Lonna Lamb. I'm 3/4 of the way done with it. I still have a little bit more to put on it and then make sure it's running right. But oh my gosh, you guys, it's taken me forever. I just have had so much happen in the last few months that I've not had a spare moment, honestly. But I did work on it quite a bit this week, and or last week, and I got quite a bit done on it. So I'm about 3/4 of the way done. It will still be lonnalamb.com. But in the meantime, anyone that's wanting anything, if they see one of my videos and they say, I would like to have that packet or that tool or whatever, then I just invoice them and get it to them. Okay. Back to the peppermint. This is a very narrow one here, as well as on the gnome. So your border can be up to you. If you're doing an ornament shape of some kind, do whatever kind of wide border or thin border that you want to do. But these on this one are 3/4 of an inch. So a compass is very handy for doing that, especially when you're going around an ornament that has unique shapes on the corners. Okay, so let me set that aside. I don't think I'll be needing my compass tonight because everything's already ready. You can also use a pink dressmaker's pencil to draw your stuff in, because it will also disappear with water or paint. So good tip to have in mind there. This is my old favorite pencil. I can't get these at an affordable price anymore. They come with pink, green, and white lead. So I have one with each color of lead. So this one I painted pink, so I would know this has the pink lead in it. So if you can come across those, great. But yeah, I can't find them. All right, so here's the colors I'm going to be using. And I did put the list of paints and brushes that I used in the events page with the description of this lesson tonight. So we're just basically doing a lesson, not a whole project. I've got primary red or tomato red, leaf green, if you want to add some green onto yours, a white, snow white, cranberry wine, and deep burgundy are my shading colors. I've got I've got warm white. You can use warm white to base yours in if it's taking forever with your snow white, or the best white to base coat in with is the Deco Arts Traditions. Highly recommend. This is opaque white, so yeah, far less coats. Black is what our background is, so if you need to touch up on the background, you want to have black handy. And then gold is what I use to trim out these ornaments and do my writing. I just wrote on here Merry Christmas and then lined it with my detail liner. I just used the Extreme Sheens gold on that, if you want to use it. And then we're going to make our own glamour dust at the end. If you don't have glamour dust or having a hard time finding it, I'm going to show you how to make some. It's very, very easy. All right, let's get ready to paint. I'm so excited. Okay, make sure my palette camera, I have to remember it says zoom on the screen down at the bottom. So yeah, my website's not up yet, but it will be, that's not what I want. It will be lonnalamb.com, the same as my old website. I feel like I'm never going to get it done. I just need a few more waking hours. Well, I don't sleep that much, but I could use a few more waking hours in the day. Or maybe I should say a few more hours that are less busy. Okay, these are the two reds that I like to use. I also like to use Santa red, and country red's not too bad. It's a little bit more orangey, so if you like that, a little bit more country type red, that's a good one to use as well. It's a good opaque red. This is primary red, and this is tomato red. You can see the difference between the two. The tomato red is a little bit more pinky, I think, and the primary red's just looks like red. So yeah. Okay, so brushes, I just like to use small rounds, and I use chisel blenders to shade with, but you can certainly use angle brushes, small angle brushes. I've got a 1/4 inch one here. What size is this one? That's a 3/8. I wouldn't go any bigger than 3/8. You could use that on some of the bigger round ones, but I wouldn't go any bigger. I will need this pencil to draw some on my peppermint. So just some small rounds, a detail liner, and then whatever you like to use to shade. I generally paint my stripes in with a round brush. I don't use a big brush to do them. This one, I may have used a bigger brush because it's a much larger ornament, bigger areas to paint. But, you know, you're starting out thinner here in the center and then going wide. So a smaller brush is always going to be a little bit better. So I like the black silver and the black gold series in Dynasty brushes, but the best rounds are their micron rounds or detail liners. So I love those. My absolute favorite round brush that I have used for years and years and years is a Winsor Newton. So, and you can tell it's been loved. Okay, so I'm going to zoom you in just a little bit here so we can see my board. So this peppermint here, I painted yesterday to show you another way that you can paint peppermint. This just makes me think of those, you know, kind of mint type peppermints that you can get, you know, that are a little bit softer. Okay, so on this one, I have already drawn some lines here. Can you see? You can see them down here. A little bit of glare. So I'm going to just start painting in these lines here. So I like my paint to be fresh out of the bottle. And if it's not, then I like it to have water added to it. So we're just going to paint in our lines here. I outline first. And then that one's a little fat compared to those two, but you know, once you get it done, you don't notice all those little details. Trust me. I've had some really crazy lines on some of mine, and by the time I got done with my shading and put that bright highlight on there, then it is just unnoticeable, anything that you do. So if you've got any questions as we go along, just ask them. I don't have someone that can see the questions, but I'll try to look up and see if any have popped up. I'm not sure my feed is moving at the moment because I haven't seen any comments for a while. So we're just going to paint these in because I want to get this one done because I want to show you how to shade and highlight on this one. I'm going to show you how to draw some different peppermints. So on this one, I can use this brush because I am used to being up on the very tip of this brush. But I think I'll go to a detail liner just to show you how to do some thinner lines. Now you can do your lines like one on each side of your thick line, two in the middle, or just one in the middle. Totally up to you. This is where you get to have a little fun with your peppermint and create it any way that you want. So I'm going to put two thin lines. If I'm painting on a black background, I don't worry about getting into the background because I know I'm going to be able to touch that up. So painting on a solid color background when you're doing something like this is helpful if you get out of lines. And I think peppermint just pop on top of a black background, you guys. So you always want to shape follow. Make sure you're making your lines that are following your peppermint shape. So that line, I almost drew an S line there, but that's not what I was going for when I started that candy cane. So already it's looking great. So good. Okay, I'm going to show you real quick how to draw some different peppermints. I'm going to paint this one over here on this one so you can see how I painted it because I just love that one. I still have to highlight that one. So I've got my red watercolor pencil here and I'm going to create some different peppermint styles. So you guys let me know if there's one particular one in here. I'm going to try and show you all of these round ones if I made enough circles. So this one is just like a 5-star one. This one's like a cross. Of course, the pinwheel one. And then this one I like to call, I don't know what it's called, but it looks like a life preserver to me. I don't know. And then we've got this one here that's like a pinwheel, but I really like it in the small version here with the green lines in with it. So, all right. So when you're painting your lines for your peppermint, and you do not need a pattern to paint peppermint, you absolutely do not need one. You can create peppermint all on your own. No pattern is required ever. Okay. So I usually start with my center. That's the point where I want to start. And it's okay if it's not quite center. Like I said, when you get it done, who's going to know it's not quite center? I'm not going to get my ruler out and measure and make sure I'm right in the center of that little circle. Nope, not happening. Okay, so I think I'll do the cross one first. So I just draw a triangle out this way. Then I turn it over. And I might get my turntable out. Let's see if that will hold it up a little bit better for you guys to see without so much glare on that. Okay, then I make a triangle over here across from it. And now I'm going to put one here. Oh, get on camera for that. And I'm going to put one here. So we've kind of made a little pizza pie right here. So, you know, you've got a good amount of triangles in there. And so I just go and mark the ones that I want to put paint in. It doesn't matter which ones you mark, because there's going to be 4 that have paint and 4 that don't. It's as easy as that. Okay, let's draw. Let's see. Let's draw. Okay, so this one that I just drew is this one. Okay, so this one over here has 5 stars to it, but I think I'll draw this one next. This one is really fun. So with this one, we do need a circle in our center. And again, I'm just going to eyeball that circle. It's probably not perfect. That's okay. I don't care. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines coming off of that one. And of course, this one, you can only see part of it. So you just find some place to start. So I'm going to make some little triangles on here. And because I have, well, I could do straight across from each other because I have 6. So I can go over here and create one. Okay, and I can come right here and create one, and that's not quite straight. Go over here and create one, and then right here. Okay, and you're just going to paint all of those in. Okay, they're going to be pretty straight coming off of the edge here. Okay. All right. So the pinwheel one, you already have the line drawing for that, but let me show you how to draw the pinwheel, because you can do the pinwheel in many different ways. So I'm still getting some glare there. All right, we'll try it this way. So again, you're going to find your center point of your circle. They look like cream saver candies, like strawberry and cream. Yeah, they kind of do. You're right. Okay, so for the pinwheel, of course, we can't see all of that one. I don't think I have. Let's see if I have one over here. Okay, so you can do 4 or 5 pinwheels. I like to do 4 because I just think they're a little bit easier to do. So we've got our dot in the center, and I'm going to make a swooping, curving line. And then I'm going to swoop and curve this one. Okay, then I'm going to turn it over. And I'm going to do it the opposite direction. These are the kind that I have made for years. So once you've made them enough, they become second nature. One here And then these are the 4 I'm going to paint. Okay. So we got that. Let's see, what other one do I need to draw? I need to draw one of these, and then we need to draw that one. I think those are the only other. Yeah, that one's here. I didn't do that one. That one's got 5 points, but instead of doing 4 like this, you would just narrow them and do 5. So this one here, super easy. So you can see the little one here. So cute. I just love that. All right, find your center. And that's all I did, is I just did my center dot, and then I just started painting curves all the way around. Just a line of curves. It's the same as if you were painting, if you were drawing that. Only instead of filling in these, you're just painting the lines instead. Okay. And that's how you get that look right there. Okay. And then the other one that I want to show you how to draw is this one. And it's super easy because you're just doing a swirl all the way to the edge of the peppermint. Super, super easy. Super easy. Okay, so let's move up to the candy canes. Let me wide angle out a little bit. And I'll show you how to paint some or draw some different styles on your candy canes. Okay. The main one that a lot of people like to do, I like this one, but the one that a lot of people like to do is the S one. And it's very easy to draw. You're just making a swooping S. So you just start where you want to start and make a curving line. And then you'll make another curving line right beside it. So there is your first. And we'll just do this all the way around our peppermint. That one could have been a little bit closer to that one. Now we're going down the long part of the peppermint, but we're still making these swooping S's. Okay. And then you'll paint those in, and they'll look like this one. Swooping S all the way around. And you can do your lines in between there. I'll paint some of these up in just a second. This one, I'm not even going to put a pattern. I'm not even going to draw anything on it because I didn't draw anything when I did that one. I just knew what I wanted it to look like. So we'll just wing that one. The thinner ones here, they're just curved around. So these are more straight, but you can do them more curved like this. Oh, my hand up there so you can see that. Curved like this. Coming off. And we'll just have a piece of one there. So you can see how you can do curving lines. The details are what makes the peppermint. The thin lines that you add on there, the shading, and then that highlight on there. There's one more way that you can do your candy canes here. And that is to create like almost like a triangle, I guess I should say, on the peppermint. So I like to start with the line that goes to the left first, and then put that one on. So you can do little triangles on here. And then when you add your detail lines in here, this is the cutest peppermint. Okay. So just little triangles all the way down it. It will be similar to, let me find that other one I did triangles on, this one. This one. And I just love this one because it's unique peppermint. It's not like every other peppermint, you know, it's doing its own thing, man. It's got its own way of doing stuff. Okay, so let's paint a few of these in that I've drawn so you can see how to do it. I might paint one in on here real quick just so you can see it. Let's see. We can do a pinwheel one on here. So let me just draw it on real quick. Okay. All right, let's add some paint to some of these. That's what we're here for, painting. I did want you to see how to draw them because, you know, they're so easy to draw. So we're just going to fill in whatever part of the peppermint that you want to fill in, always starting at that center point. And sometimes when I get to painting, I think, well, that needs to scoop out a little bit more. So, you know, I'll just make it scoop out a little bit more. So I'm going to look up and see if I have any questions here in a second. Always starting at that center point. So my lines that I drew were just kind of a guide. Outline first and then just fill in. Super easy. Okay, so I'm just going to stay with this brush because I can manipulate it and make some thinner lines. And I'm going to put one thin line in the middle. Super easy. Look at that. Look at that. Crazy easy, right? Okay. Let's go on this sheet here. And this is the cross one. So we're going from this point, and these just come straight out instead of swooping like the pinwheel one. So just go find yourself some pictures of peppermints or candy canes or something. You'll be amazed at how many different ones that you find, different styles that you find. My red looks kind of orange on the camera, but this is a very true red right here. So let's see, how did I do this one? So with this one, I did some green lines on it. Now you're going to have to do your red twice. Once is not going to be enough to get it that bright color that you need it to be. So let's add some green stripes on this one. Some really thin ones. So use your detail liner. You're still coming from that point right there at the center. Oops. Right there, a couple of lines. And they are very fast to paint up if you're doing more than one. By the time you get to the end of the row, they're dry. You can go back with your second coat. Now, when you do your thin lines, you don't have to do a second coat on those. It's just the fatter areas that you do that will require that little bit thicker line. I think I'll go over to my other red so you can maybe see the difference. Right now, the camera shot is not showing true color there. At least for me, it's not. Okay, so this one here, we're only going up to that circle right there. And we're coming out like this. This one is such a fun one. So all of you that got that line drawing, I can't wait to see what kind of peppermint you make or what colors you make them. And you can make your circle in the center bigger than I did. A little bit bigger, I think, would look good. Okay, and this one doesn't have any lines in between it. It just stays just like it is. And of course, that's the pinwheel one. So let me move down to this one here. And this is a pinwheel, but we're going to do every single line. And it curves like off of the edge. So you got to make sure it does that curve all the way. Make sure I'm not sticking my hand in wet paint there. All the way off of the peppermint shape. Well, that was kind of a wonky line right there. Okay, all the way off. See how it's already created that little center there? That's so cool. I think I'll stay with this brush and do some green lines on this one. So I'm just going to go in between each one of these and create a green line. I love this one with the green lines in it. To me, it just says Christmas. Christmas candy. And I love it. I think it is one of my favorites. Need that little water to my green paint so it flows a little better. So I stopped making those wonky little lines there. And I'm sure you guys paint everything perfect every time, not like me with those wonky lines. That is looking so cute. Now I won't need to repeat any of those. I mean, you can if they still seem kind of thin. I probably did on this one because these are nice and dark color. So I probably repeated that red on there. Okay, so this one here, very easy to paint. So we just start out at our center, break it down into little parts. No need to try and go around this thing all in one big swoop. Just do a little bit and come to it. All the way around, doesn't have to be perfect in any way. I'll just kind of take it off of the edge there. So that one's super easy. All right, let's go up and do this one. Then we're going to start doing some, well, I do want to show you on this one how to paint this one. This one's actually going to be similar to this one here, I think. So that's a big ornament. I probably won't get it all done. So when I painted this one, I just had in my mind those soft peppermints, kind of like the peppermints that you get at weddings, you know, that flavor type of peppermint. So that's what I was picturing in my mind, those little peppermints that you can get. Yes, Cindy, thank you for posting that. The line drawing is in the files, under the files tab. I believe it's the one at the very top. So you can go grab that. So what I wanted was a fat line first. Just coming down any old way down my peppermint, okay? So, and then I thought, well, I want another one. And I could have one more down here. So they're just kind of going, however, down your peppermint. So now we're going to move to our detail liner and make those thin lines on there. And so I did 2 right there. And then you can do 2 or 3 here. A bit too much paint. You do have to have your paint thinned down for this. Stay on the tip of the brush. That's very important. I might bring one more in here. And it can just end wherever. It doesn't have to have a certain point that it ends. I just think these look so cool. So that's how I painted that one. Okay. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Okay, let's see. Which one of these should I show you? I want to show you one of these. I mean, that one's very similar to this one, only these are straight and these are curved. So that one's pretty basic to that one. So I think I'll paint the S curve one in for you, so you can see that and how it looks. I did draw it on this one here. So I drew the S's on here. I didn't put an X on which ones I'm painting in. Maybe I'll just paint it on this one. So you just start, I didn't even measure these. I just started at one point drawing my S curves and just drew them all the way around. They probably won't be the same distance apart. I am not a perfectionist when it comes to that kind of thing. I've been painting peppermint for a lot of years, and not one time have I ever measured out. I think the very first time, I take that back. I think the very first time I tried to paint peppermint, I measured out and I got so frustrated with it. I'm like, I'm not measuring that out. No way. That's too hard. So I just eyeballed it and just went with it. So you see, we're just doing that swooping S motion. Well, Rita, I'm so glad I have you wanting to paint peppermints. That's awesome. They are fun. They're quick. They're easy. I'm going to show you how to do the shading and that highlight that makes those peppermints pop. I'm telling you guys, once you put that highlight on there, it's like, wow, I just painted some peppermint. And just because I have my lines drawn on here doesn't mean I necessarily have to stay on those lines, because I can come back after my paint's dry and erase those. If I don't like how the line that I drew actually looks, I can just paint it on different. So we're getting that lovely little S stroke. It is the one that a lot of people gravitate to. They really like that look, that flowy look of the S stroke. And your thin lines that you put on there totally are your option. Now, you could not put thin lines on there, but I have to tell you, I think adding the thin lines in between or beside or whatever you want to do, I think that's what really makes the peppermint look more like peppermint. So I think I'm going to be a little creative with this one and put some green lines in between. And yes, I will have to do 2 coats of red on here. So I'm going to put 2 green lines in between. Make it really Christmassy. And the good thing about having the black in the center is I don't worry about going over into that. I can clean that up when I'm done with my peppermint, because I guarantee when I put my shading on here, I'll probably have it in the background or in that center area. So I don't worry too much about, getting it over there. Have a little wobble there. Try and remove a little bit of that. Up on the tip of your brush, that's how you get those nice thin lines. And, you know, I can tell my distance in between some of these is not even remotely close. But like I said, when you get done, all of that fades away because you only see the peppermint. Don't see, you know, what's not the same distance behind something else. Okay, I am going to quickly put a second coat on these because I'm a fast painter and I can do it. Because I want to show you how to get the details on some of these. And I don't want us to be here for 5 hours. So not that it takes long to paint peppermint, it really doesn't. But I've got several different styles of peppermint here. And I'll probably just do shading on a couple of them. I'm going to redo my lines here. Second coat. Just a quick coat. That other one has a different color of paint on it, so I gotta. I'm not going to do the green line, just the red ones. Okay. Just the fat lines, not the thin lines. We don't need a second coat on our thin lines. If your paint has good flowing consistency, but still quite a bit of paint, you don't need to repeat those thin lines. That would make you insane, trust me. Trying to go exactly back over that thin line. Okay. I'm going to put the second coat on this one because I do want to show you how to finish this one out. It is a different kind of peppermint, so it gets a little bit different finishing technique here. Don't really want it in that center. Okay, anybody got any questions? Hi, Marco. How are you, buddy? Let me do a quick coat on second coat on this one. And then we'll do start our shading and highlighting. Now with the shading, you can use whatever kind of dark red that you want. My two favorites are cranberry wine and deep burgundy. Now cranberry wine is more of a pink color when it shades, and I did do one with cranberry wine. Let me find it. This one. I did this one with cranberry wine. The red that I painted on here, I believe, is the same red that I painted on this one. But my shading color are different. This one is the cranberry wine, and this is the deep burgundy. I really like the deep burgundy, but a lot of people like the more pink color of the cranberry wine. So those are two really good options for shading on peppermint. The cranberry wine is a nice transparent color, which makes it nice. The deep burgundy is not as transparent. It's not transparent at all, but it is a very nice color for shading, and you can make it transparent with water. So you just thin it down with some water and get it to a transparent consistency and use that to apply your shading with. So quick second coat. Then you can erase any of your lines that you didn't go over. And I just use a white plastic eraser to do that. Doesn't leave any residue or anything behind. Any of you that have watched my videos know I use a white plastic eraser a lot. I erase paint with it and everything, so. All right, second coat's done on that one, so we are ready. Okay, let's start some shading on here. If I have time, I might do this bigger ornament, but I don't know. We're already at almost an hour here. Okay, so shading brushes, definitely personal preference. I like to use chisel blenders because they have short bristles. And I like the shorter bristles. I don't mind using flats as well, but you can use an angle. Whatever is your favorite brush, that's the one I want you to go for. Just remember, you're just going to load a small corner, a little bit on the corner of the brush. Your brush has to be damp. So it's got to have a little bit of water in it. When we're doing this, we want a more sheer float. We can go back and add, but you can't take it away. So you don't want to get it too dark to begin with. So I'm going to put some deep burgundy out. I'll probably put some cranberry wine out as well. And that way you can see the difference between the two. Hopefully it will show a little bit of difference, because I don't know, on the camera shot I'm looking at, every color looks orange, but it's not orange at all. It's red. Let me spritz my palette here with water. That way I can keep my brush damp. So my brush is damp. I'm going to corner load and work that in. I'm going to get a little bit more water because I want this to be a fairly sheer float. I can come back and do it as many times as I need to, but I don't want to get it too dark. So I'm just going to start along this edge and just scoop my way down this candy cane. Every time I load my brush with paint, I'm going to load it with water, and then I touch my paper towel to get excess paint and moisture out. Okay. We want to try not to fill the entire peppermint. Okay, I'm going to move down to something else while that side dries, because I don't want to try and do that side. It just will. I think I'll do that one with cranberry wine, because I did this one with deep burgundy. No, I actually shaded this one with the red that I painted it in. That was something else I needed to tell you. You don't have to use a separate color. If you don't have a separate color for shading, just use the red that you used to paint it in. Okay, you don't have to grab another color of some kind if you don't have it. So let's go around this one. Not letting it get too incredibly wide. That water edge and scoot that paint over if you need to. Be in control of your brush. Let me go to this one while that's drying. Although that one candy cane's probably already dry. And we'll do this one. Okay, I'm just going to start on the inside here. And just soft pressure. You shouldn't have to give the brush too much pressure if it's loaded right. And I'm using sheer paint that is not very far over on my brush. It's on that corner, but it's not very far across the bristles. So it's more of a tighter float, but I think using a bigger brush helps, because I don't even know if you can see that first float, because I'll make it a little bit darker, so maybe it'll show up. I heard I lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? I forgot what I was talking about, you guys. You're gonna have to remind me. What was I talking about? It just completely went out of my head. Oh my gosh. So just that one little float already gives that edge depth. So amazing. Now this one, because it's a wider area, I can go ahead and go out here and do this other edge. A little bit of paint, a little bit of water. I still got plenty of water in my brush, so I did not have to get water yet. I didn't go in and erase my lines here, but I can do that before I varnish it, so I'm not too worried about it. All the way around. Need the water on the brush. You absolutely need the water to do this. It is a key point to getting the edges to look really, really soft and not be too stark and take away from the peppermint itself. A lot of people are having a hard time finding this class. Well, it's in the group. It should have been at the top of the feed. The more you comment, the more it stays at the top of the feed on the page. So it should be at the top. So I don't know if someone, because I can't stop to do it, if someone wants to share this post in the group, so maybe they can see it somewhere else. I've never had anybody not be able to find it, so I'm not sure what's going on. I mean, I haven't done a live on YouTube in forever, so who knows why YouTube has changed. All right, I'm going to go up the side. And I always do my floats twice. That's why I like to keep them very, very light. The first float can be a little bit choppy. And the second float really smooths it out and gives it that polished look, you know, that more finished look. Okay, so that's just one float on there. I'm going to switch over to my cranberry wine, show you the difference in color here. I might do this one because I did that one just with the base color that I put on. I don't remember what color I painted this one. So, woo, that's pink. I don't know how well that's showing up for you. That's a pink color now, that cranberry wine. Oh, I'm glad you got on, Terry Ann. Let's see. See which side I loaded my brush on. I was trying to see if there was a comment that I needed to answer. I hate that someone's having trouble finding it. So look at that. It's already giving that form. I'm going to use the cranberry wine on this swirly one down here, because it's a fun one, and cranberry wine just suits it, I think. A little bit of paint. Try not to fill up your peppermint. Okay, that one's got two shadings on it. One, one, one. I'm going to do this one. I think I did this one with the with this red here. I'm not 100% sure, but I think I did it with this color. So we'll try and shade with the color that we base coated it in. I got a little wide there, so I'm trying to push the paint over more towards the edge. Of course, it's not showing up super well for you there. If I put my hand there, I'll get that glare off. I've tried adjusting my lights like crazy. I have a cool light and a warm light above me, so I don't know what it is. They just don't want to cooperate. So that looks pretty good with the base color of red there. And then this one, I use this other red, so we can use that for its shading color. And I'm only going to finish out a couple with their, that is much pinker than I thought it would shade. Yeah, I'm using the color I used to paint those reds in there, but that is quite a bit pinker than I thought it would be. Much pinker. So that, to me, that is just ridiculously bright. All right, I'm going to finish the shading on this one. And I'm going to finish the shading on this one. Oh, one place else we need to shade on this one. Now you can go to a smaller brush in these areas, but we have to shade around the center here. Those two reds look the same color to me. Just around the center. Create that little circle there. All right, let me quickly do the shading on this one, the second shading. Then my paint. The pink gives it that vintage candy cane look. Yeah, it does. I actually think the burgundy does that for me, but gives it a more antique-y look, I guess. Not that we want our peppermint. That must not have been dry because that is removing the paint instead of adding it. So we need that second layer on there. We don't want to see any white on the edge. So we just want to have it nice and smoothed out. All right, so let me do a quick second one on here. And this center also gets a little bit around it, just making the look of a little kind of circle in the center there. I have to add some black to that so you can see it, because I can't even see it. So the tiniest, ooh, so tiny little bit of black, just to darken up that color. It might be a little too dark, and I want you to see it. It's got a little button circle in the center. Probably doesn't need to be that big. See, it's just a little thing. I can make that much smaller. So let's take that off. Make it smaller. Make it smaller. Just paint. It's a little dot in the center here. That looks much better. Much better. And this one will get the same thing. Just a little dot in the center where all of those little pinwheels come together. Okay. Okay, so I need to do a second one on this, and then I'm going to do a second shading on this because I want to finish out all of those and show them to you. This one, I did the base coat color. Ooh, that's looking dark now. Around the center. I really don't like that one on there. I think it is just way too pink. Takes away from the Christmassy look that I was going for there with the green in it. So that was the base color that I used there, and it was just too pink. Now you can, if you want, add the smallest amount, just tiny like I did on there. And that was probably a little more than I should have used, of black on these to make them, to make that shading color just a little bit darker. Especially if you have peppermints that are laying over one over another one. You'll want to do that. On my box, I did do that. So let me put a second shading on this one. I'll bring my box back in just a minute and show you that. So load my brush, a little bit of moisture in there. Tap on my paper towel and let's get the second layer on here. And hopefully it's going to pop up a little bit more for you. Once we add that highlight on there, oh my gosh, it just completely makes the I might add a tiny little bit of black in there. I want it a little bit darker next to this inside area where that's black. So I'm using my deep burgundy in just the tiniest amount of black. A little bit of moisture. Is water better than floating medium? Well, I've never used, well, I'm not sure what kind of floating medium you're talking about. I know that plaid has a floating medium, and it's fine. I've just always preferred water. So I would say if you're a floating medium person and you love it and you use it, then absolutely use that. Okay, let me do this outside edge, and I'm using the deep burgundy and a tiny little bit of black. When I dip into my black, I always offload it over here because I don't know how much is on my brush, and I don't want it to be too much, you know, and then I'm fighting the mix, trying to add the color that I need to get it the color that I want. I just prefer the water when it comes to floating because I feel like I can manipulate the paint and adjust it as I need to with just having that little bit of water in my brush. So for me, water is a little bit easier for me to use. I have used floating medium though in the past. When I first started painting, I used it. Okay, so that's got its second shading on there. I did not finish this one. It's a pinwheel. Let me grab a second coat of paint on here. It's very similar to, well, not really. It's similar to the one that has all the lines on it, but it just looks different when it's finished. I just want to show you each one of these different styles finished out because I think it will help for you to see how they're done, and then you can make a judgment on what kind of peppermints you want to paint. There's just so many different ways to paint. Okay. So I need to let that one dry before I can shade around it. Let's do some highlighting. Highlight, white. Get it to come out. Oh, that's warm white. I don't want warm white. I want snow white. I want that bright white. I don't have a second shading on that one, but I'll just show you how to do the highlight on this one. You want to paint all of them. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Pat. I am a multitasker. And I do a lot of YouTube lives where it's just me. So, all right. So I thin my paint. I've got my detail liner here with my nice thin point on it. Very thin. So when you're doing the candy canes, this is the way I like to do it. Now, other designers may do it completely different than me. You just find a way to paint peppermint that you love to do. But this is the way I've always done them. I just take my white and create a line on here, and it does not have to be a solid line. Actually, a broken line is probably best. And most of the time, if I'm not using the Traditions paint, I do have to do the white line twice. Maybe I'll put some Traditions out so I only have to do it once. because it's just more opaque. And remember, when you're thinning your white paint, to use your clean water. So if your water basin does not have any clean water in it, then you need to go over here on your palette where you do have clean water and send that paint down. Okay, so we're going to do this one here. And I got a little bubble of paint on the end of my brush. I don't want that. And we're just going to go straight down this peppermint. And I wish that was not having that glare. Look at that. Look at that candy cane. Now, isn't that amazing? All right, so on these round ones, they're pretty easy. Just do a half circle and a half circle, and there you go. Super, super easy. That's all you have to do to the round ones. They are very, very easy to highlight. So easy. Look at that, how that just pops right off of there. I mean, that little bit of shading, we didn't overdo with the shading, and then that white down the center. Oh my gosh. I just love painting peppermint, you guys. It's just so fun, so easy. All right, let's do this one. Sand my paint a little bit more. I don't like to have excess moisture at the ferrule, so I always take the ferrule to my paper towel and wipe it off right here. Because when I dip into my water to send my paint, that ferrule is going to have lots of water in it. All right, so let's do on this. And I did the fatter part here, but you could do both of them. Just a white line, that's all it is. Oh my gosh, look at that, you guys. Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. It's just so amazing. So amazing how that just pops right off of there. I'm going to redo this line on here. It needs to be a little darker. Now, if I do have to go back and do the line, I don't always do the entire line. I'll just do like the center of it where it's maybe gonna have a little bit brighter light on it, the fatter part of the peppermint. Oh my gosh, that just looks so good. So good. Let's see. This one here, when you highlight on it, it doesn't show up as much, but you still need that highlight on there because it's still so light in the center where this is going over some red colors and stuff. All right, I'm going to finish this one out right here so I can have all the peppermints that we started done. So I need to shade on this one. So I always start in the red area when I'm applying my shading color and then work it around. I'm using that deep burgundy just because it's my favorite when I do peppermint. I like that color combination a little bit better. But again, you know, that's going to be a personal preference to whatever it is that you like. A little bit of water. Get my paint to move a little bit. Now, I don't know how well you can notice this, but when I'm going around this round thing, I'm not laying my brush flat. I kind of have it up and I'm pushing against the edge of the peppermint. I'm pushing that paint kind of against the edge, but still allowing, you know, that float to happen, not just creating a solid line. That probably was totally confusing, but it just is something I've always done, and it just takes a little bit of practice. All right, let's make a little dark area in the center here. Maybe a little bit darker so you can see it. Right there in the center, and I'm mostly dry here. think I can go ahead and create my second shading on here so we can pop a highlight on this one. And that magical white highlight. Ooh, look at that. Oh my gosh, gets me so excited when I add that highlight on there. It's just amazing. So amazing when you add that highlight on there. Super, 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 super cool. So see how many different ways you can do your peppermint. So fun. You add that highlight on there and oh my gosh, you guys, they just jump right off. Just like you could pick them up and just eat them. They really, really do. And it's super, super fun to create peppermint. Now I'm going to show you how to do your own glamour dust here in a minute, because I do like to add glamour dust every now and then, especially to my smaller peppermints. This one has glamour dust on it. So, you know, you can really bling up those peppermints. I want to ask, are there any questions on any of the different styles of peppermint that I showed you? Because I want to make sure that you know, got it. Oh, I did want to tell you that I stenciled in the center of these. I just had a stencil that I cut apart and had the word joy, and so I stenciled that in there with gold. Did a little border outline with the gold paint. And I just had these words and I just stenciled them inside here. But like on the ones I'm doing for Christmas gifts, I just wrote Merry Christmas in there and then used my liner and went over it with the gold paint. So lots of ways you can finish them out. And then on the backs, I usually write my message and the year it's painted and sign my name on the back. And yeah, that's what I do. I make ornaments every year for family. And that is one way that I finish them out. Got my foam plate here so we can do some glamour dust. And I think I'll put some glamour dust on the one that I painted. What did I do with it? The one I painted tonight. It's on the back of the green one. What did I do with it? Oh, there it is. I think I'll put some, well, it won't be glamour dust because I'm going to make my own. I'm going to show you how to make your own. I didn't get to the back of this one, but I was just going to do it the same way that this one was painted. So you could see it in a bigger form, but I didn't get to the back of that one. So I'm going to put my own glamour dust on this. So what you need to make it is your gloss varnish or high gloss varnish, either one, something shiny. Shake this up, make sure that, because all of the gloss part settles at the bottom. Even on the satin and stuff, you know how you get that thicker down here. That's the shine part that is at the bottom. And generally with most varnishes, you don't want to shake it up because it makes bubbles. But with this varnish, I've never had that issue. So, but if I buy varnish at the store, I do have that issue. So I have to gently stir it. Okay, so I've just got some fine glitter here. I think it came in a set of some kind of glitter. I have so much glitter, all different colors that you can imagine. So you can make any color that your heart's desire to paint on your project. So I'm going to dump some of this in here. Ooh, look at that. And how much you put in there, totally up to you. If you want it to be super, super blingy, then put lots of glitter in there. I made quite a bit here. I think I could have done a lot less. I'm going to put a little bit more in there. I have so much glitter, I don't worry about if it runs out. I have a whole drawer full of glitter. So this is how you can make your own glamour dust. If you can't find it or you run out of it and it's like, oh my gosh, if I just had some glamour dust to put on that. I just wiped this off and look at that. Ooh, so pretty. So pretty. I'm gonna make sure that my brush does not have any paint in it. I want to make sure it doesn't have excess moisture in it either. So squeeze that moisture out. And we're gonna paint us a very sparkly ornament. Oh my gosh, you guys, that is awesome. So I'm varnishing it and glittering it at the same time. Look at that. I'm gonna have to put my excess that I made here in a small container because I'm gonna want to use this on something else. Now you can put as many coats on here as you want. When I use the glamour dust, I put 2, 3, 4. Depends on how blingy I want it. You could even make this with the chunkier glitter and make that really chunky paint on glitter. Oh my gosh, you guys. Of course, it's still wet, but oh, man, this is awesome. And glamour dust is probably one of, well, I think it is my favorite deco art product. So I'm never without glamour dust. I always make sure I have it on hand. Kind of filled my hole there. I usually keep a toothpick on hand so that I don't fill my little holes. Oh, look at that. So gorgeous. So gorgeous. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Love it. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Trisha. Ah, so good to see you here, my friend. I feel like I haven't talked with you forever. So there's how you do your glamour dust. Make your own if you're in a pinch. Any color that you want to go with any project that you have. It's very easy, lots of fun, and I'll definitely be adding a couple of coats onto this. And then I've got my border varnish, so I just got to finish out my center and may varnish it with a flat varnish so that it stays, not shiny. I think that will make it look much more unique that way. So that is it for my demo, painting peppermint and showing you how to make glamour dust. Let me wide angle out here. I just want to make sure I don't have any questions about any peppermint or anything like that before we go here. So if anyone has any questions, thank you guys so much for being here. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. I just could not wait to do this with you guys. And I know it wasn't a full project, but I never intended for it to be. I really wanted it to be just showing you the many, many ways that you can make peppermint and really have fun with it, make them unique, make them fun and interesting. And yeah, this was a lot of fun for me. So thank you all for being here and for taking part in it. And yes, it really does look 3D. I agree. I mean, just when you put that little bit of shading on there and that white highlight, oh my gosh, it really does look 3D. I can't get over it. Every time that I paint peppermint, I cannot get over that fact that as soon as you put that white highlight on there, they literally look 3D, you guys. Just really, really do. And I think that's why this one here has been my #1 seller of all time, of all my packets ever. This one has been my #1 seller, my peppermint sticks, because, once you paint them, they really look like you could just pick them right off of there and eat them. So thank you, Peggy. I'm glad that you loved it. And now you're going to have to get candy canes. Forget about painting them. I just need something to eat. Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, I had lots of fun with you guys, so I'll try to go back through and read the comments, and if there was any questions that I missed, I'm sure there were lots. I'll try to get there and answer them. And I just want to remind you that this is on Pinecraft, this surface, and it is in the on the post in the description. I think I put it over on the event as well, but I'll make sure that it's over there, the link for this at Pinecraft. And thank you, Sandy. I hope you have a great evening as well. And the box is gorgeous. Thank you, Judy. Yeah, that's one of my favorite designs that I've ever done. Of course, I do say that about a lot of my designs, but that one, I don't know. It just, the peppermint just looks so real. Thank you, Cindy. Yes, I'm glad. I'm glad you stayed till the end and saw how to make glamour dust. And yes, I really wanted to show you that you can draw your own peppermint. You really do not need a line drawing for peppermint. You can create your own. Create your own. Hi, Carol, my friend. Oh my gosh, my best friend from high school. Thank you. I'm so glad you were here. Merry Christmas to you too, my friend. Oh my gosh, that's awesome that you were here. Okay, any more questions from anyone? Then I think I'm going to sign off, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I had a super, super great time showing you how to make peppermint in many, many, many ways. And I hope you get out there and make some peppermint, because this was a lot of fun for me to do and show you how to do. So I hope you all have a great Christmas and a happy new year. And I don't know when I'll be back to do a demo, but I'll get on the list. I'll be doing something for you guys because I just love doing it. And oh, Linda, my sister-in-law, or my sister, I just love you. Thank you for being here. I hope this helped you. And you know, you can message me or call me anytime, and if you need anything. So bring your stuff up to Eloise's this weekend. And I'll see you there. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm going to sign out. Have a great Christmas and a wonderful new year, and blessings on you all. I appreciate you all. So we'll see you. Oh, head over to my YouTube channel if you have not been to it yet. YouTube youtube.com/Lonna Lamb, or at Lonna Lamb on YouTube, and check out all my videos, over 200 on there. And please subscribe while you're there, you guys. I appreciate you. I'll see y'all soon. Have a great one. Bye-bye.